Welcome back, my people. Thanks for joining me on Israel's Movie Reviews, where today we're going to be discussing the sequel to The Matrix, entitled Matrix Reloaded. And this movie, for me, was under review because it's the first sequel to the Matrix franchise, right? Matrix Reloaded. And it's a film with some great merits that come close to matching how the Matrix original one was executed, which on the same merits, and it also suffers from major flaws that make it both disappointing and frustrating. Granted, the the directors Wachowskis, they had a mammoth task to follow, and it was such a high standard to compete with, so it was always going to be touch and go, and that's how it came off to me, right? They had to either meet level or exceed expectations for the first film. Starting with the good things, right? Once again, while this movie wasn't revolutionary, right? The first one pretty much was. This one looks wonderful, it's stunning, it's amazing. Cinematography was up there just like the first one. The production design is still audacious. The special effects dazzle. This movie is uber cool. Very slick editing and cinematography that's both clever and imaginative. But once again, the music score it's hypnotic. It's haunting, which I loved. The use of the sound, having a real sense of airiness, gave this film that edge it needed. The Matrix Reloaded benefits from some astonishing set pieces that benefit from not only looking great, but it also had breathless stunts and great sense of paranoia, right? Energy and tension. While rather underused, the villains are interesting in this. I feel like they weren't used on the level as the first one. You know, Agent Smith, we know he was the peak. He was the mountaintop in that movie. And this one, they add a few more villains. They add a few more elements. And it's noticeable, you know. In this movie, the acting varies, even including Keanu Reeves, which he's still oozing that super coolness that he exudes. But I felt like his character was underwhelmed. Carrie-Anne Moss, bringing strength and vulnerability to her role, excelled. Hugo Weaving, who's a commanding presence, also played well in this movie again. As charismatic as Laurence Fishburne is, he does take this role a bit too serious for my liking. It's too much of a heavy approach, which is a general problem, you know, and feeling too heavy and the tone being too serious. It feels bloated, trying to do too much, and it also incorporating too many themes and characters, which, you know, sometimes is not a good thing because they become not that interesting when there's too many flaws in these characters and too many characters that don't have a lot to do. I feel like the writing was a bit a mess as well in this movie. There's so much dialogue that it comes off campy, cheesy, and stilted at times. The pace surprisingly plods, especially at the beginning. That feels endless with scenes that serve little to no point to the plot. There's certain parts in this where it drags badly. And I feel like the finale is a bit convoluted, but ultimately this wasn't a bad sequel. You know, those are my nitpicks. But to me, the original definitely stood on top of this one. You know, my whole thing is if you're gonna do a sequel, make sure you top the original. Although this is not a bad film, for me, it didn't top the original. But it wasn't disappointing. You know, it had another great car chase scene. Fantastic action scenes up and down the movie. But this movie definitely had a real sense of airiness and that creepy feel to it. And I liked it. And I hope you do too. Leave your comments below once you see this movie and let me know what you thought about the first two. All right? My next review is going up really soon. And check out the first two before you check out the third one. Okay? To the next one. Peace. Don't forget to like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe.